Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. We are experiencing some turbulence. I'd appreciate it if you'd remain in your seats and keep your seat belts fastened until I turn off the fasten seatbelt sound. Thank you very much.
Hey everyone, if it's not obvious, my name's Faisal. Today I'm going to ask you this question. Can you be evil? Well, see, since the beginning of time, there's only ever been a very simple objective for living organisms, and that's to survive and reproduce. So we'd go on and evolve from evolve from single-cell organisms to multi-cell organisms to arthropods to reptiles and apes and so on. Now, as a species, we've always had this form of turbulence that help us evolve and survive and go onwards. And this turbulence was more of a psychological turbulence rather than biological, and that is the switch between good and evil. Take, for instance, prehistoric primates. Now, if it saw a dead corpse on the floor, what would it do? Absolutely nothing. Alert the primate authorities? No, that doesn't exist. It would just go on, walk away. It's nothing to worry about. Well, what about today? Now that's different. Today, you'd call the authorities, people would hate you, even people who care about you. I mean, face it, it's evil. So, what exactly is evil? Well, thanks to Google, I know that evil is profoundly immoral and wicked acts or such. But is that all I have to go on? All I can make of it? Well, Stanford's Encyclopedia of Philosophy talks about two concepts of evil. You have the broad concept and the narrow concept. But I'm just going to be talking about the broad concept. So, the broad concept branches out into two other forms, natural evil and immoral evil. So, natural evil is something that happens without intention. So, as the name suggests, self-explanatory, it's natural, such as a toothache or a tornado, like natural disasters. Nobody causes them to happen, they just sort of happen. Or maybe you might want to stop eating that candy, it hurts. And then you have immoral evil. Well, these are usually intended, such as murder and lying. Every day we witness and even commit immoral evils. I mean, think about that time where you stole the last cookie and told your mom that it was your little brother who ate it instead. Or that one time when you stole that piece of candy from the store owner. That was a terrible, nasty hit that you got from your parents, wasn't it? Well, I mean, you can't really get away with it. I mean, what are you now? A thief? A criminal? A liar? I mean, maybe you could be evil. Now, this guy called Stanley Milgram went ahead and brought a group of friends, and they made something called the Stanley Milgram obedience experiment. So what he did was very simple. He had 3 participants, himself and 2 others. So he brings them together in this room. Over there, you have the experimenter, which is Milgram himself. And then you have the 2 participants. Now, the 2 participants would select their role randomly from a hat. And over there, you have the subject, who is the teacher, and the experimenter over there that I'll be calling the student, the one hooked to the wire. So the task was very simple. He would give the experimenter, the second experimenter, a question, and he'd have to answer it. But like every social experiment, there's a catch to it. He would get shocked, and every incorrect answer would lead to an increase of 15 volts. So, another catch is the fact that there was no second experimenter, no shocks, no electricity delivered. And all those cries and screams of pain, they weren't real. It was all pre-recorded and played. And that's what the teacher would hear, the subject. Because in the end, the experiment was only being done by him, and he wasn't participating in anything. And he was tricked. So he would go on and increase the voltage and shock him continuously. And after hearing those screams and yelps of pain, he would begin to become very hesitant about whether he should continue or not. And that's where Milgram steps in. He was the authority. He was in charge of making sure that he completed it whether he liked it or not. And they've done this, I don't know, maybe 40 times, and a whopping 89% delivered the full 450 volts that could kill a person. I mean, doesn't that make him seem like a bad person? But he had to do it, right? Well, that's when something called confrontation bias comes in. And confirmation bias is basically when a belief of yours is tied to your emotion, and the stronger the emotional connection, the more you believe in it. So based on what Milgram told him, he said, that's right, I have to shock him. It's my job, it's my duty, I have to do it. But then there was something else that he was feeling. Cognitive dissonance, which is when something doesn't seem to make sense. A Nazi battalion reacting to film and pictures of concentration camps and the terrifying things that they could see. You can see how they're horrified and how it's really unpleasant to watch. I guess that really does make us all human. Except for that guy. That guy's enjoying it way too much. And why is he looking at the camera? The screen's over there. Anyways. So why would they do this? Why are they so focused on doing such terrifying things? And, well, I mean, not all Germans are bad, and not all of them joined the Nazis. Well, I'm pretty sure you're all familiar with propaganda, right? Well, if you don't know what that is, propaganda is basically enforcing your ideology, which can usually be biased through media and such. So how exactly would he do it? Well, he would go and teach the children in schools that one day, if you joined the army, you could be fighting for honor and justice. But look at these guys. Do they look like they're enjoying what they're doing? And clearly, it's not a good thing. And then even media. He would use censorship to block out all forms of opposing ideas so that he would get his way, so that they would believe that they were right and everyone else was wrong. It's terrifying, right? But thank God it's all over. We're never going to see propaganda again. North Korea. Kim Jong-un, the terrifying dictator of North Korea. And what is he doing to keep his citizens in line? That's right. He uses propaganda. And it's a very terrifying method of how he does it and delivers it. Okay, so there's a rule that dictates that the radio is to be played 24 hours every day of the week that cannot be shut off. Imagine hearing that propaganda spew for hours and days and weeks. You'd probably reach a point of insanity. Well, I'm pretty sure that's how they feel. It cannot be shut off, only lowered to the minimum volume. Well, I mean, even here in the UAE, Sorry, just getting a call. Hello? Ah, all right. Oh, I see. That was the Sheikh of the UAE. He was just telling me to say, this is a great country. I love it. It's amazing here. Anyways, well, I believe that everything happens with a reason. I mean, nothing can just happen out of nowhere. 0 and 0 can't equal to 1. So, based on that belief, I'm pretty sure we can say that why does evil exist? Well, let me ask you another question. Why does good exist? Why do opposing forces always have to exist? Well, that's because for everything to function, there has to be a balance. In fact, think about what I told you about Hitler and all his terrifying acts. I mean, sure, they were terrifying, but it led to amazing discoveries and advances in technology and society and the space age. And come on, I mean, as terrible and as bad as we feel for children who suffer in poverty, without that kind of motivation, we can't make charities and really change the world the way we do. So, I guess you could say that in order for anything, even TEDx, we wouldn't be here unless there were some bad happening in this world to talk about. Like what I'm talking to you guys about today. About, you know. So, I guess, if there was no good, and if there was no bad, then what would there be? Everything would just be neutral, normal. Nothing special, nothing unique. I mean, we'd still be living in this ball in space, this blue, great marble oasis in space, and yet nothing would happen. There wouldn't be any problems in the world, and there wouldn't really be purpose. There wouldn't be something to do. You wouldn't need to leave the house to do anything, because if everything was good, then you could not identify evil. And if everything was evil, you wouldn't know what good is. So in order for everything to work, there has to be some form of balance. So, I guess the question changes now. It's no longer, can you be evil, but do you want to be evil? Thank you.